Okay. Hey everybody. I'm making a video about just the importance of budgeting, how to budget, and kind of some ways that you can go over some things like that. So for the video, first just doing like some research for the video. I was having a little bit of trouble getting the average one bedroom apartment rent. So I'm going to be doing this situation, what budgeting could look like for one person who is average. And by average, I mean average income, average price. Prices for rent vary from state to state. So that's why I had tallied up all 50 states. Actually, it's funny. So I was getting my information from like a number of different sources, and this website, funny enough, they did 49 states in the District of Columbia. They forgot about Vermont. And it's kind of funny because I feel like the person who spent all of that time researching it and stuff like that, I feel like they got to 50 states or 50, like, DC is kind of a state, but kind of not. But I feel like they got to the number 50 and then just stopped because they were like, oh, I'm at 50, I must be done. So funny enough, they forgot about Vermont. From that, what I found was that West Virginia was actually the cheapest state to live in, with the median slash average. No, I believe this one was probably either or, honestly. But the number for that one for a one bedroom apartment came out to $583.17. The highest was the District of Columbia, where a one bedroom apartment on average costed you $1,735.83. So if you are the average person, you're probably not living within the District of Columbia because it'll be out of your budget. That's for what I'm drinking. I'm drinking an old fashioned. Yeah, it's the weekend, so getting drunk while I talk about financial literacy and stuff like that. Another thing is that I'm kind of passionate on the topic, and in the past I just kind of like jumped around, did it. I've even done a video similar to this, so I just wanted to like start over, kind of try to put out a little bit of better quality, and then just as well, I wanted to organize it better. I'll actually create a playlist and keep trying to update it. It'll probably be something like financial literacy, or like, how to navigate as an adult in the world, something like that. Something that is it's not necessary. It'll be nice to people who are not necessarily financially literate, but it'll also have like topics and things we can go over to if you're like a young adult coming into the adult world or something like that. So from those 50 different states, remember Vermont is missing, and Vermont is a expensive state, but remember that Vermont is missing. The average, it's not the most expensive state, but again, I'm just trying to be fair with how I convey this topic. So the average rent was $914.21. And when I was finding out what the average versus median income is in the United States, an example, if you're not familiar or you may have forgot, average is when you take everything, you add it up, and then you divide by the number of the things you took. So if I was taking an average of 1 10 times, I would add up all of the ones, which would equal 10, and then I would divide by 10 because it was 10 separate instances. Median, instead, it says organizes everything from smallest to largest, and then look at the number when you got those all lined out and look directly in the middle. One of the problems that can occur from using a median versus average is, I'm going to give you an example. If I had 10 different numbers and I had the number 1 9 times, and then at the very end I had the number 101, the average of those 10 numbers would be 11. Now, if I took those same 10 numbers, remember I have 9 lined up 9 times first, and then the last number is 10. If I was to take the median of that, the median would be 1. That one is a lot more fair of a way to look at what it's. I don't want to say average, because average does have a different definition versus median, but it can be a lot fairer way to show results. So yeah. So the average rent was $914.21. This is the median income. This is just something that I am conveying to you guys. I did not actually use this for this budget. The median income was, for a woman, every 4 weeks she can look to make $3,884. For a man, every 4 weeks he can look to make $4,656. These stats were provided from the Bureau of Labor Statistics from the United States. It's one of those government websites, inwood.gov. So respectable source. From that, though, I said, let me actually just look at averages, work with that. And because average was a lower number, and I'm just trying to convey a point again, that you don't necessarily have to be in the best position financially to budget, save, and improve your future. So from there, I am going to keep that average rent, $915. I'm just going to round up to the nearest whole number. And I am going to go by the average income of the United States, which was $31,133, which comes out to $14.97 an hour. I am going to round up to $15. I don't think anybody will fault me for getting rid of that 3-cent difference. Okay, so what that comes out to. Also, I'd like to add that some states have no income tax, so 0%. 5 states have a 0% income tax, and some states have very high income tax. California, I think, has the highest at 13.1%. So for this instance, I've used a state that had what I thought was a fair income tax. I used Illinois. I live here, and it's also it has an income tax rate of 4.95%. It is a flat tax. It does not go up or down depending on how much money you make. So I decided to just roll with that example, and it's actually crazy. So the average rent is only $7 away from the average of Illinois. So it's pretty good in terms of being average. So if you ever want to live someplace average as hell, live in Illinois. So lastly, the last thing you need to know is that when I'm doing this budget, it is based off of a 4-week income. That is because most people, they tend to put their finances in terms of when the next paycheck comes, and usually people are on a bi-weekly pay schedule. So easier just to work with 4 weeks. So if a person working in Illinois for $15 an hour were to work full-time, after 4 weeks and after taxes, they could expect to have a net take-home of $1,875. It was 74 with some change. Keep in mind, I'm rounding to the nearest whole number, no matter what, just raising it up. So you can expect to make $1,875. You can expect to pay $845 in rent. You might be saying, hold on, that's not the same thing. Remember, I said I am looking at a 4-week income. If you were to take the entirety of a year, 52 weeks, and divide it by 4, that comes out into 13 4-week periods, or basically 13 months. But you will pay rent every 12 months. So in order to fix that, what I did was multiply out what you could expect to pay in rent yearly, which was $10,920.52. And then I just divided that by 13 to get it in line with that 4-week period. So it's just an easier way to look at it. As I know that there's been weeks where you might get 3 checks in 1 week versus a week where you get 2. So it's just easier to put it into those nice even numbers like that. So you can expect to pay $845 in rent. Remember, we adjusted that for that. Leaving you $10,075 left over. You can expect to pay $75 in utilities. I think that's fair, even a little bit more lenient, considering this is a single person living in an apartment by themselves and they're working full time. So they're going to spend a good portion of their day outside of that apartment usually. Minus $45 in internet. I have a video on the channel reviewing Comcast prepaid internet. It's $45, pretty good. It works in most cities. Anywhere you can get Comcast, it pretty much works. I work from home, I video game, I stream, I make YouTube videos, and this internet is pretty good for me. And then the average cost for food for one person and their monthly food budget in the United States ranges from $150 to $300. I thought it'd be fair, again, to keep it average, and I just split the difference. So this would be $225. So we're subtracting $225 after rent, utilities, internet, and food. That leaves us $730 left over in a 4-week period, or about $365 every 2 weeks to do with whatever is necessary. I allocated $130 to miscellaneous spending. That might be you need paper towels, dish soap that month, or something random like that you didn't necessarily plan on spending but isn't like a large factor in what you do. And then I allocated $200 to having fun. Fun is important. It is, what keeps us going. So that's $200 to fun, which could be just going out. Not typically, people don't go out every night, but it could be just like you want to go out once a weekend or something with your friends, go see a movie, stuff like that. And if you don't use up all your fun money, that's great. You can use it on more miscellaneous items or something like that. Lastly, that left over $355. I allocated that towards savings. Another important part of budgeting is it lets you see where you can cut down on some expenses, and it lets you see where you can actually take some money and stash that off to the side for the next time that you might need it. Yeah, that's good. What that would look like in this case for a person working full-time, $15 an hour. What it looks like for you is if you were to save $355 every 4 weeks for an entire year, that looks like $4,615 in your savings account. Oh, sorry. That's money that you can use to build up your wealth. You might want to have aspirations of owning a home one day. And that'll be a great way to do that. If you could maintain the system for about 4 to 5 years, I would reckon that you would be in a position to put down a down payment on a house, first-time homeowner, something like that. Really, it would just be like looking back at your finances and seeing what you want to do. So if you were 18 and you started this, great for you. 23, you might have about $20,000 saved up, but that is not where it starts. I allocated money to taxes because we pay taxes, and taxes, for better or worse, they suck. No, they suck at first, but they in the long run, they're good. But a person who was, again, in Illinois, they're looking at paying about, I think, 21, if you look at the average, 21.86% of their income to taxes. This is a single person. They are not being claimed as a dependent by anyone. They have 0 dependents, so no children. And they paid $6,800, I believe, for taxes that year. They can expect a tax refund. This is from Intuit TurboTax, so don't blame me if you don't get this amount. I'm just going by their tax estimator. That person can expect back $567 No, $5,677. Could you imagine if you only got $500 back? That'd suck. But that person can expect $5,677 back. Now, again, I told you I am about you having fun as long as you can afford to have fun and you do it reasonably and responsibly. This money is great because it's money that was already gone. You had to live out the entire year without having it, and now you can use this money. And it's not all fun money though. don't go dropping this all like that. If you needed to do something like purchase a car, for instance, and you don't want to go in debt, if you would have spent that year saving up $4,600 and you get a tax return, now you can go out and buy a $10,000 car. It'll be probably not the nicest thing out, but until you can work your way up into that point, we all got to start somewhere. That is a good, nice first purchase, and that car should give you more than 1 year of reliable transportation out of it. So that's one option. Second option, and one that I'm probably more fond of, split this down into three different ways to use it. You can break it up. We'll just call it $5,680. So we divide that by 3. Comes out to about $1,895 in 3 ways. You can put $1,895 into your savings account for an added boost. You can save $1,895 for a trip, travel the world. It'll be fun. You know, everybody wants to travel. That's something that a lot of people say they want to do. Personally, I have traveled, and I usually spend about $600, or I usually spend less than $1,000. I took a trip to Arizona. I went with a buddy. I think airplane ticket, hotel, rental car was about like $450, $500, and then just like some stuff like just having fun there. So less than $1,000 was really what I needed for a trip. But some people like to do extravagant things, go to these big fancy places. Usually not me, but $1,895 for a trip for a single person where you can dedicate that money, that is a very fantastic trip. That's your reward for being a financially sound and responsible person who has looked out for your future. And then you got $1,895 that you could invest. Yes, I know I said savings, but you could also put that money, that last $1,895, into some stocks, kind of build up towards your retirement. It shouldn't be the only thing you build towards retirement, but in those early years or just in general, it goes a lot further than doing nothing. So that last $1,895, it can go into your savings. It can go into your stocks. It can just use it responsibly is what I would say. Don't use that last bit just for fun. Use it for something responsible. Maybe you are tired of the kind of money you're making right now and you want to sign up for a community college course where you'll spend 4 to 5 months learning a trade. Maybe that class costs $1,600 and you want to afford that. And you want to like get your CDL, or you want to become a CNA and make some more money. That's something that you can do with that extra bit of money. It's just important on how you use it responsibly. If you are getting a large tax return and you are doing well for yourself, I say use 2/3 responsibly and use the third just to have fun, just to make sure your mental is right so you can go out and do it again. Or you don't have to use the whole $1,900 for one trip. You know, maybe you want to take 3 $600 trips like how I said that year, and like you just line up your weekends and your schedule and stuff like that. So a trip every 4 months, it doesn't sound bad. I think most people agree. But this has just been a video talking about how that is important, how it's great to actually get out these numbers out in front of you, how you can see what you can afford to spend, what you can't, what you cannot do. This system gets better if you make more money, if you can keep your costs relatively low. Like if you start making more money, you don't then start spending more money on frivolous things. it's a great system. It's a great way to just kind of get you in the mindset of that stuff. I will make a different video about this, but one of the things is that I have it where you are saving automatically. One of the important things about a budget and about savings is you sit down, you say, well, what can I manage to save each month? And then you completely remove yourself from that situation. A lot of places, a lot of banks and stuff like that, savings account, you can do automatic contributions where it takes it out of your checking account every 2 weeks, every paycheck you get. And that money is off to the side. You don't get to spend that money. You spend the rest of the money. What typically happens is people spend everything and then see what they can save, and typically that comes out to $0. If you start by saving first and then spend accordingly, you'll find that you get to justify a lot more purchases. So like if you let's say you wanted to go out and movie, have some drinks, that's like $50. If you really, I pregame before the bar, but if you really wanted to spend some money, that's like $50. You'll feel a lot better spending that $50 if you say like, hey, this was a part of my fun money. I spent my fun money and I definitely already saved close to 6 times this. That's already put up. I don't have to worry about it. So it's a good feeling knowing that your savings is growing no matter what you do, because it's already automatically being contributed and stuff like that. If at the next paycheck you're like, I got $0, I don't know where it all went, you can at least take some comfort in the fact that actually I do know where some of it went. It went to building up my net worth. So it's a nice video. Once again, I've been drinking an old fashioned just mixed with some cherry Coke. I'm gonna go get drunker and I'm going to go eat. So I'm not driving though, if anybody was worried about that. I have food in the house because I'm cutting back on eating out. So all right, have a good one, everybody. Hey, have a better life too. See ya.